A1.
Hey Mike, I just thought this might work out better than just some simple photographs. But here she is. It's a 1992 Collinsworth Broadcaster. Mr. Collinsworth was a long-time guitar builder in Luther in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is the last guitar that he built. He only built two of the Broadcasters that were supposedly patterned after the 1949. It's a pine body, and as you can see, what he's done, rather than scratch and put pot marks or whatever, what he's done is just simply distress the finish. I don't know if it's a nitro finish or what he used on there, but he's distressed the finish. He handmade the brass bridge that's on it, as well as the control plate, and he handmade this pickup and hand wired this humbucker pickup. And I'll let you hear it in just a minute. I guess supposedly true to form for that issue, it used slot head screws instead of the Phillips head screws, but he uses slot head screws on it. I told you that the bridge pickup, and I really don't have any way of knowing, but I'll try and take this off and shoot a picture. But supposedly he said it comes from a 63 Telecaster. I think he actually rewound it and overwound it is what he did, and I think the humbucker is kind of overwound as well. Moving on to the neck, it's a pretty thick neck, as you can see. Slabboard rosewood. The frets are not medium jumbo frets. They're smaller fret, but there's really not any appreciable fret wear on the guitar at all, and there's no divots in the fingerboard. A few small imperfections, like right here where it's got a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a ding in the rosewood. Typical of the early Broadcasters, what they call the snakehead headstock, 3-on-3. That's a water slide decal that I put on there. He had run out of decals when he built this guitar, and Bobby Langston, who owns the guitar shop in Shreveport, Louisiana, owns the only other Collinsworth Broadcaster there is, and he let me look at it to get an idea of what his logo was like. It's got the old Kluson tuners. I have no idea the approximate age of these particular tuners, but you might know more about that than I. But supposedly he handmade this neck as well. I did pull the neck off for kicks and giggles to see if perhaps it had any fender markings or anything like that, but it has no markings whatsoever. There's no real dings or dents in there. There's some discoloration here, there, and yonder that he probably purposely put in there. As you can see, the back of the guitar is much like the front, just a distressed finish. The neck pocket's a little bit different on this guitar. You can see some of the imperfections right here in his cutout, but it's a good solid fit and good tone transfer. The body is very, very resonant as it is. And the only other thing I can tell you now, the pick guard is scratched up from a ton of, or made to look like from a ton of playing. Far as I know, I'm the original owner. Even though he built this in '92, he kept it in the shop for years and years and years, and then had Bobby Langston sell off the rest of his stock, and I happened to come across this one here. I've got it plugged into my old Blues DeVille. All the settings on the Blues DeVille are pretty flat, so that there's no influence from the amp on the guitar. Just got a little reverb going, and that's it. And just on the bridge pickup, you get that typical telly twang. And then you can go to my favorite, which happens to be the neck pickup, and you get a really nice. Get a really nice tone out of the guitar, I think. In the mid position, you don't really detect a lot of difference in the mid from the neck. I don't know if the humbucker kind of overpowers the single coil, but as you can tell, it's not much different. Of course, it gets a little different in the treble. That's kind of it. The action is really tight on this guitar. Luke, if you can kind of look at the distance between the strings and the fretboard, you can kind of get an idea of what that action is like. And it pretty much plays without any real buzzing up and down the neck. The only thing that I think is a slight imperfection as far as the guitar is concerned, if you'll focus in here on the bridge, is just a little bit of string placement problem. I don't really notice it playing it, but it appears that the A string's a little bit closer to the E than it is the D. You got a little bit bigger space, but that doesn't bother me at all. But at any rate, here it is. It's a '92 Collingsworth Broadcaster, and I'll try to send you some photos.